It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television. My name is Omololu Rosonwo. It's nice to have you join us. Today on Talk Point, we'll be looking at mobilization of youths for the continuous voters registration, which is actually ongoing. The event started last week on the 18th of August, and as I speak with you, this is 25th of August, and of course, the exercise has continued physically, and it is ongoing. I was at INEC office, and will be playing the shots very soon. But before I do that, let me introduce the guest in the studio for us that will be doing the discussion. I have with me here Ibrahim Adigun Olalekon. He's the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. Ibrahim, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, I know you've been doing some things on this mobilization for INEC registration and stuff like that, and I know very soon we'll be having some shots on it. Could you just explain some of the things you know about CVR?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like this particular CVR exercise that has commenced, you observed that last week the online registration portal was opened, and we decided at the level of the Youth Council that we are going to make sure that we activate all of our structures so that we can have presence of youth at different wards, at different ward level represented, so that we can, encourage them. Because if you look at young people, majority of them, some of them do not have smartphones and do not have opportunity to, put themselves online. So what we have been trying to do right from last week Monday on the 18th is to bring a lot of people from their ward levels, from the level of their streets, bring them out to our various points. We have about 150 of those points across the 379 wards in Lagos. So we are bringing them out and we are registering them online, and we are keeping that data. So by the commencement of this week, like today, as you have said, the physical exercise, we are now pushing them to the LGU.
Okay, let's quickly listen to that interview and some of the interviews there before we continue.
Sincerely, I wasn't ready to pay the price in the past. I tried to come and register, but crowds, logistics, work. But this time around, different factors came into play. One, I have time now. But most importantly, I felt I can't be praying in the closet and not do my public duty. The nation is going in the right direction, I must confess, and I felt that I need to play my part to ensure that it continues in that direction. Too many people are, let's just say, praying for miracles without doing the necessary legwork. So
it is very important because it is the commencement of the continuous voter registration exercise in preparation for the 2027 general election. We commenced the online registration last week, Monday, 18th of August, and today we flagged up the in-person registration across the state, and this same thing is going on. In Lagos State, we have 21 designated centers for this phase. I need to say that this exercise will take place in 3 phases. We are in the first phase now. For the first phase, we have 21 designated locations. These are the 20 local government area offices, as well as our state office here in Yaba. And for each local government area as at now, we have deployed at least minimum of 3 machines per local government. Where we have large population like Adimasho, we deploy at least 4. So we have adequate personnel and material and machines to cope with the exercise for this current phase.
Yes, that was the resident electoral commissioner in Lagos State, Professor Ayobami Salami, giving an update on what has begun this morning at the INEC state office on Burial Avenue, Yaba. Before him, also the first registrant also spoke to Lagos Television on the need and the reasons why he had to just take that decision. Coincidentally, that person that spoke earlier before the INEC resident electoral commissioner is a first timer. He has never voted since 2009, and he just registered. He now said that he had no choice, that because he's saying that there is kind of reformation going on in Nigeria, and he has to also play his part to do that. That explains why he has come to INEC office to do the registration. Let's come to the studio and talk to Ibrahim. You just heard what that guy said there.
Yes.
He's a first timer. I can imagine what he's been waiting for all these years, because when I spoke with him, he said he made the decision not too long ago, but that since 2009 he has never registered. Each time he goes there to register, there will be hiccups or so, there won't be time, and he couldn't just wait, he had to just leave it like that. But now he's saying that it's time to do that. Could you just comment on some of this?
So I think INEC itself, I think they are growing by the years in terms of deployment of technologies that they have to show for it. This year, for example, they put, you can see the old registration is in phases. The first one has to do with online. So they are giving you opportunity to, because what happened previously is that the whole thing starts and ends at those 20 centers. So instead of having a lot of people just going there, starting the registration from the beginning, so what they're now saying is go online, do the capturing of the necessary information. All you just need to do is now go to your designated centers, the 21 centers that they talked about now. Just go there and you spend lesser time instead of registering from the beginning and now doing biometrics. So I think this has, of course, instilled confidence and also allow some level of seamlessness at the level of the CVR registration. Secondly is there is high level of optimism and high level of enthusiasm from Nigerians. Nigerians across the length and breadth of this country now want to be involved in who becomes their governor, who becomes their member House of Assembly, member House of Reps. They are more eager. So they want to be part of the process. And the president himself, as the commander-in-chief, has demonstrated at all time that he needs us, especially people from this side of the region, for us to be more involved, and all other regions also, but for us to be more involved in the electoral processes that will lead to selecting our leaders and picking our leaders at the end of the day. So and that is why you can see someone from how many years ago is now want to actively be involved in the electoral process. I think people now know that the permanent voter card is no more just an identity card. It's now a card that now will decide our future as a nation. Is a card that will have opportunity to decide who leads us within our locality. I think for everybody, it is elementary and essential for us to maximize this period to go to our various local governments. In Lagos, we have 20 local governments recognized by the federal government. So, and I think there is an headquarter in Yaba.
Yes.
So those 21 centers, we can now go there starting from today. The only thing is we want to encourage INEC. What they need to do is now to increase the capacity, because, for example, in Mushin, you have three machines. That 3 machine cannot do enough in terms of capturing of prospective voters. So we need more of those machines deployed across, more especially in Lagos, deployed across 57 local governments. I think that should be the first phase. So if you can have the first phase to be 57, maybe 58 with the HQ, then we can now begin from that. They now deploy to the world level, because in Lagos we have about 25 million people. We need to increase the basket of voters that we have in Lagos.
Now, let me just pause a little. Let me interject. From what the resident electoral commissioner said today, because we were there earlier, from what he said, yes, they have deployed machines to various local governments, and that they have like 3 or 4 that will capture, haven't done online. Now, what is expected of the youth, or anybody that is registering? Are they expected to have done online before coming, so that they will reduce the time of registration so that they can take their biometrics, or what are you looking at?
Thank you. Again, kudos to INEC for ensuring that it's online, because majority of the young people, they spend half of their day online, or maybe if 60% of their days online. So the advice for young people, as we have been doing for them, and as we have said earlier about 150, 160 centers that we have, if you have a smartphone, just go online, type you want online registration, online CVR registration, it's easy. The Google algorithm will take you to the domain where you can register. So when you click, you register, the processes are very, very easy. The interface of INEC is so interactive. Anybody can go there and you can register. So after registration, the next phase is for you to now go to any of those centers. It makes it easy for you. It makes it easy for you to register when you have done your online registration. So we want to advise every young man, every young woman that you should please go and maximize the window that we still have for the online registration. If you do not have a smartphone, go to our social media handles. You see all our centers. We created about 160 centers where you can go to if you don't have data, if you don't have funds for data, if you don't have money. And I think the local government administration in Lagos are doing something marvelous this time. I think they've also created online registration centers in their various local government, the 57 local governments. And I think this should also be amplified because those centers are expected to be maximized by the market men and women, young people who are within the rural part of Lagos. You know, when you go to some parts of Badagry, maybe Badagry West, some very remotest part of Lagos. So I think those centers are there already. So young people should just find a way, locate online registration centers around you, or with 100 naira, if you can subscribe a data on your mobile smartphone, it will enable you to be able to register. And this is not because you want to have an identity card. It's because you want to be the deciding factor of who emerge as your House of Assembly, House of Reps, your governor, your senator in the forthcoming 2027 election, which is highly anticipated by the entire Nigerian people.
Yes, Adigun Ibrahim, you seem to have so much passion for this. Is it because you're the number one youth leader in Lagos, that you're doing that as a youth council person, or you've taken it up because I saw some of the things you did through the graphics and all that? Now, why are you really involved in this? Is it that your collaboration is there, or you're just doing it as youth leaders?
So fine, we have a responsibility as a youth, whether we are in public office or we are not holding a public office, to continue to galvanize ourselves together. That's our first assignment. The second responsibility is fine, we are the, so to speak, the youth leader in Lagos. So we have a responsibility to ensure that we deliver on our mandates. And that mandate in Lagos, for example, it is leave no one behind. The Teams Plus agenda, where the youth is a fulcrum of that pillar of the Lagos state government. In fact, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda also include young persons. So for us, we have a mandate to continue to look for platform and to continue to advocate for young people to be inclusive in all strata of life. The last local government election that just concluded, we observed that we were in the front burner of advocacy for young people to be included. The Lagos state government, of course, are leading the charge for youth to be actively involved. The age of a youth is 18 to 35. If you take a statistical analysis based on what we have seen, people who emerge through this process, out of the 376 wards that we have about maybe 30 young people, 30. And that is significantly less than 1% of someone who have emerged as a youth. So for us, is a call for concern. The political parties set a benchmark of 40, which is not in line with the Lagos youth policy and the federal government policy and the national youth policy. But of course, we are starting somewhere. But we need young people to know that they have to be involved. If you are not involved, you cannot be picked as councillors. You cannot be picked as House of Assembly members, House of Reps members. So if you don't have a permanent voters card, for example, you don't have the local standing for you to say anybody should vote for you. So first, you must get that PVC. It is an opportunity, it's a window for you to be voted for and for you to also vote. That is your own passport to be in governance and for you to be actively involved. And finally, if we are all we are all clamoring for youth inclusion, and we ourselves as youth are not coming to the fore to be part of the process, then there is a problem. Because in Lagos, for example, and in Nigeria, we have about 60% of the entire population to be youth.
Yes.
So if it means that the people who drive this society, this our nation, this our state, this our community, are actually young people. So if you, as now the young people, have now decided to take a back seat in a conversation where you're supposed to be taking a front seat, then that means we are not ready to allow our country to progress. And if you look at this mantra of build the youth, build the nation, it's a mantra that is practical. For us to be able to build our nation, we must be able to build our youth, because our youth, so to speak, are the future leaders of tomorrow. But today now, they are supposed to be the leaders of today, starting today. If you want to be the leaders of tomorrow, you must start today. So it is important for us to take it personal, and that is why today, this morning, I was at the fora, and what I told them at that fora is, see, come, we could have a lot of us that are here, but it is important for all of us to go and maximize this window of continuous voter registration, to be part of the electoral process, to be part of who emerge as our governor, who emerge as our senator, who emerge as our president.
Okay, Ibrahim, you have so much optimism that the youth will participate more in the next political dispensation, starting with the process now. But how can we make sure that we channel their direction towards that social media which they leverage on? They have every time to go on the social media, they chat on social media, they talk on social media, but they hardly vote. And the social media is not where you can vote. It is when you have your PVCs that you can vote. So what are you championing now? What are you doing to further ensure that they maximize those things and they channel those resources and their energy towards this?
So for example, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, there's been a lot of advocacy that is going on there to make it easy for them to even locate, to make it easy to even identify the polling units or areas that you're supposed to, even if you are going to register, you should be able to map where you're supposed to register or you're supposed to vote appropriately. That advocacy is on. I think it's also important for NOA and all other government agencies that are supposed to be involved in building confidence in the youth about the electoral process, about the governance process, to also go on social media. There are a lot of influencers that are there. We need to engage them. You know, when you are in the forest, you need to behave like those ones that are in the forest. So for our government, they need to come to the social media space and ensure that there is aggressive engagement with them. Fine, a lot of young people that are on social media, if you compare the population of young people on social media to those that are not actively on social media, the number of those that are not on social media, active on social media, outweighs the ones that are on social media. If you are going to be practical with ourselves.
But we have most noise on social media. They shout on social media, they talk on social media, but they don't replicate that when it comes to voting and things like that.
It will interest you to know that, in fact, people who vote more are the ones that are off social media. Fine, we will continue to amplify our voices on social media, but the government, while they are doing advocacies with TikTok, different platforms, they must also know that it is important for there to be a robust engagement at the community level, at the ghetto community street level, because those are the places where you see the boys who say, what has the government done for me? What has the impact been? People who have not got opportunities to go to school. These people must also be aggressively engaged. People who are in the slum, who are on waterways, those people have to be aggressively engaged. So I think with the ones we are doing, with the spaces that we are holding online, with the live sessions that we are holding on social media platform, the government must also come through NOA and all other orientation channels to also amplify, increase the budgeting with what they do, with how to engage young people to be part of the process online. But offline too, it is important for them to continue to keep their base. And that's what the Youth Council is all about. We are at the community level. We have community-based organizations. We have faith-based organizations in the churches. We have uniform-based organizations, the paramilitaries, all of these organizations, and NGOs too. We are all coming together to collaborate, but we need the government to support us. If the government is not supporting a well-entrenched body like the council, then you will be left with organizations that are ready to stampede the progress of our nation.
Before I let you go, your collaboration, is INEC in tune with you in Lagos and Abuja from what you're doing?
Yeah. So the last one we did with the local government election, we had huge collaboration with LASEC. So the INEC, the present INEC administration in Lagos, of course, we are working with them. Our relationship is not yet cordial, but however, we are working assiduously to ensure that it is cordial so that we can build confidence. They can have high level of confidence in us based on our antecedents of what we have done with LASEC and previous administration, because that's the only way we could do it. At the last local government election, we had our men across the 57 local governments actively engaged in advocacy and also in observing the electoral process. And you observe that the electoral process in this just completed local government election was better than the previous ones.
Okay, but INEC is using 20 now. Are you sticking to that 20? INEC is using 20 local governments now.
Yeah.
Are you sticking to that, and are you working with INEC on the 20 local governments?
Of course, we work with them. I think the residence commissioner have also exercised that they have plans to expand it, because he said this is in phases. So it means that the next phase, because Lagos is a peculiar state, and people want to vote in Lagos. A lot of people want to vote in Lagos. I know that very soon they are also going to expand from the 20 maybe to 35 or to 40. So we want to encourage them with what they are doing, fantastic work. But of course, we need to also expand so that we can get to a lot of people quicker.
Yes, I've been speaking with Lekon Adegun. Thank you so much, Adegun Ibrahim Olalekon, for being part of Talk Point. I want to appreciate you once again. I want to believe that you will continue to collaborate with people that will ensure that the society gets better. Thank you so much for being part of Talk Point.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 are always the lines to call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. The continuous voter registration has commenced. It will end next year, August, but it will do you a whole world of good if you start the registration now, so that you can also avoid the bandwagon and rush that will always come before now. On that note, we are ending Talk Point today. 767 and 112 are the lines to always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble, and remember, be good so that Nigeria and Lagos can be better. I am Omololu Sonwo, signing out.